Welcome back. It's 8:12 right now. So today is the start of Black History Month, a time to honor the Black community and, talk Black history. But there's also a push to celebrate Black history all year long. We would like to talk about this morning with civil rights leader and activist, Reverend Markel Hutchins. Reverend Hutchins, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So, let's just start with that. You say Black History Month should not just be confined to 1 month of the year. Talk about this push to really get this to be a year-long thing.
Well, Black History Month is important in that it sets a time for our nation to really remember, reflect, and act upon the history and the contributions that Black Americans have made to this country that we all know and love. But it also is an opportunity for us to lay the groundwork to address the continuing social injustices, the social inequities, and the social imbalances that African Americans face in this moment in time. All those things are rooted and grounded in history. So if we are not reflecting upon our history, we have a chance of repeating some of the history. So Black History Month really is an opportunity that compels all of us to look at where we've come from, but most importantly, to look at where we are and where we're going toward the perfection of our democracy for all Americans.
And I like how you say that, too, because I think when we think of Black History Month, we're going, oh, notable Black figures in history that have made an impact. But we're also talking about maybe the systemic racism, the systems that have been put in place, contributing to some of these issues that you're touching on this morning.
And that's one of the things that Black History Month is really intended to do, not so much as reflect upon the challenges, but really look at how those challenges inform, the history of challenges informs the challenges that Americans face today. So a lot of Americans are turned off by the usage of the term social injustices or social inequities, but really the social imbalances that lead to social injustice and social inequities are rooted and grounded in history. And he who knows not his history is destined to repeat it. We've got to continue to cause our nation to look at the challenges that we've had with race, with racism, with systematic inequalities and injustices, so that we can cure those things and really focus not on the things that divide us as Americans, but the things that unite us. And that's what this Black History Month should be about for all Americans, looking at where we've come from, where we are, and how we move forward in the future as one United States of America.
And you just mentioned that as well, and we were chit-chatting a little bit during the break, and that was a good point. I mean, Black History Month is not just for Black Americans. Black History Month is something that everyone can benefit from learning from.
Absolutely. We should really focus on Black history, the contributions of other ethnicities and groups every day of the year. But just like Valentine's Day is a single day that we use to honor and acknowledge the love that we have with our significant others, Black History Month is the month that's set aside to really honor, acknowledge, and reflect upon the history and the contributions of African Americans, not just for the sake of people who are Black and brown, but for the sake of all Americans. One of the things that we've got to do a better job in these days, Liz, is focusing on how we must address the most vulnerable and weak among us, not for the sake only of that community, but for the sake of all of us. Martin Luther King Jr. said it best: what affects one of us directly ultimately affects all of us indirectly, because we're tied together in an inescapable web of mutuality. And that's something that I fear that we've lost over the last several years. This sense that we are all tied together in this single garment of mutuality. There's so much focus on division and the things that divide us. We've got to focus on the things that we all have in common, because that's what makes America the best nation in the world.
I love that. And Reverend, as we move forward into Black History Month and we make a commitment to move forward as well and try and be part of that and learn more about Black history and not repeat it, as you mentioned here, where can we go? I mean, what are some good resources you suggest?
Well, I think we go forward. We look towards each other. We are all making history every day.
Yeah.
And the question is, will we go back in fear, or will we move forward in faith? We are living, Liz, I truly believe, in an unprecedented time where racial tension, racial animus, and racial misunderstandings are probably as prominent today as they were in 1968 when Martin Luther King Jr. was killed. We've got to figure out a way in our homes, in our neighborhoods, to reach beyond our comfort zones, to try to understand the history of those who don't look like us, who don't come from the communities that we come from. That's how we further Black history. I continue to maintain it's important to look at the past, but our best use of history is charting our pathway to the future. And that's what we should be focused on in this moment in time, because God knows if we've ever needed to come together as Americans and figure out a pathway forward, that time is right now.
Well put, well put. Thank you so much. Reverend Markel Hutchins, we appreciate you joining us this morning. Would love to have you back to speak more on this.
It's a pleasure. We'll always be glad to join you.
Thank you.